Hey everyone. Today I will be reading maybe a chapter or so from the fanfiction Hitachiin love triangle from me on fanfiction.net. So if you think it's interesting, check it out. Basically what this is about, a little summary of it says, past memories get stirred around when a girl shows up that the Hitachiin twins know well, but the shocking announcement of her forced engagement has set the twins on a downward spiral. Realizing their love for her, they race against the clock to convince her not to comply with her father's wishes to marry. And I apologize, I am a little bit sick, so yeah, just bear with me here. It's been quite popular, I would say at least. I have 15 chapters, over 22,000 words, 86 reviews, 31 people favorite it, and 41 people like it. So I've been trying to continue with it, but life problems have gotten in the way a little bit, so here we go. My shoes clicked briskly against the ground as I ran through the hallways. My red hair swished awkwardly against my back, and I wheezed in an attempt to draw breath. I turned my last corner and ran down the corridor to the giant doors I knew I had to go through. Starting to gasp for air, I put my hands on my knees, sucking in breath. Placing my hands against the large doors, I pushed. Welcome. The voices were pleasant, but there were only two that I was truly looking for. 7 boys stood in front of me. No, scratch that. 6 boys and 1 girl in a boy's uniform. My mind fumbled, trying to sort out who was who. The tall blonde on the chair had to be Tamaki Suo. His startling blue eyes were pleasant and quite kind. He held an air about him of extreme aristocracy. He must be the king, I realized. Next to him was a boy with short black hair and gray eyes covered by glasses. Kiyoya Otori. I recognized him through many interactions. He seemed shocked to see me, almost like it didn't register I was there. Another tall, monstrously tall man stood next to him. I assumed a 3rd year. Ah yes, Mori, I believe he was called. A small blonde boy, Honey, was on his shoulders. The next one, the female in boy's clothing, I didn't recognize. She didn't look like she belonged to this kind of environment. Then again, I shouldn't be talking. I, too, was wearing the boy's uniform. Finally, the 2 people I came to see most, the Hitachiin brothers. Hikaru and Haru were dear to me as any of my friends. Both standing straight and tall, a devilish look on their faces. They slowly melted into shock when they saw me. With ginger hair and golden brown eyes, they looked intriguing. Kisuru? Voices blended together, saying the name like a gentle caress upon a cheek. Cow! Ka! I lunged at them, wrapped my arms around each of their necks, as they, too, wound their arms around my waist, squeezing me gently. It's been forever, Kisu! I knew I would like to hear them talk together forever. It was a sound so pleasing I could barely contain my excitement. It has indeed. I turned to Hikaru. How have you been, Hika? You've grown! I placed a hand on his hair. And look, your spiky hair is so much cuter. I now turned to Karu. Cow, I've missed you. It's been so long. I love the way your eyes twinkle when you're surprised. You look so adorable with that expression. They laughed at each other. Or me. I'm not sure which. Tamaki Tamaki cleared his throat, forcing us to turn to him. Care to introduce me? Oh yes, this is Kisuru Makoto King. I bowed low. It's nice to meet you, Tamaki Suo. His expression lit up. You've heard of me? I blinked at him. Why, yes. You're the king, aren't you? Tama flew around the room in overindulged happiness. I grinned. We sat down at a beautiful table, everyone else pulling up a seat. I now knew who the unknown member was. Haruhi, a scholar student with a big debt on her head. The twins seemed ecstatic with my arrival. They were practically vibrating from it. So what brings you back here, Kisu? I grimaced. Well, Father decided it was time to move to Japan. I've lived in Germany, Greece, and America for a while, but things seemed quite like home unless you two were accompanying me. They laughed good-naturedly, but that's where my happy attitude died. Father said he's planned a marriage for me. A look of shock and genuine upset and anger crossed the twins' faces. I had been friends with the twins since they were kids. I was the only one they were close to. I could tell them apart with ease that astounded them. It was the reason we'd gotten so close. I moved when I was about 10, and only moved back. We always kept in touch. I tried to come home during summer vacation to be with them. But for the past 2 years, things got difficult. What with my father and all. The twins knew how upset I was about this as well. A fear of mine had always been to marry someone I didn't love. If I didn't love them, I believed I shouldn't marry them. Father was getting no gain out of it, nor was Makoto Corp, the company my father owned. Since Mama passed last summer, I realized I'd forgotten to tell them that, but I ignored the sympathetic looks I was getting now. Father decided I was old enough to gain a fiancé, and so he arranged for me to marry Yuki Seuno. Kyoya frowned, angry tick working its way into his jaw. You can't be serious! I turned to Hikaru, whose voice was full of fury. You can't just go through with this, Ki. You cannot. This isn't who you are. This isn't who your mother would want you to be. You won't be happy. Doesn't your father read that? He doesn't care. My voice was only a whisper, but they looked as though I had just screamed my heart out. He doesn't care? Al's voice was soft now too. I'm his only child. He needs me to do my duty, and he believes this is fulfilling it. Since Mama passed, he says I haven't been the same. I saw the scene once again flash before my eyes. Mama smiled brightly at me. Well, Kisuru, where should we shop today? I don't care, Mama. I was just happy to be able to spend some time with her today. Well, what about that adorable little boutique I saw across the street yesterday? I'm sure the hotel guards would allow us to do just that. A happy smile lit up my face. Okay. Getting dressed quickly, I looked at Mama carefully. She had brilliant red hair, exactly like mine. It waved and curled and straightened perfectly. Today she wore it in gorgeous curls, while mine was waved. Her eyes were an enticing blue color, one that looked translucent to the thick black ring surrounding the iris. I was the spitting image of her. After talking with the guards, we were allowed to walk across the street. Papa was always so paranoid what should happen to us if we weren't protected. The shopping seemed to take a couple hours, which it did. It was dark and raining by the time we left. Mom looked up into the sky. The rain is so beautiful, isn't it, Kisu? I could only agree. We began to walk across the street when I heard the screech of tires. A careless driver drifted around the corner, now spinning out of control, headed straight for us. Just when it would seem the car would hit, I felt nothing. It scared me. Was I dead? We hit the ground. Mama had wrapped her arms around me and taken the brunt of the hit, throwing us yards back. Mama? I crawled out arms and began to shake her, the shock half wearing off and half feeling anew. No response came from her. Mama? I felt so numb now. The pain was overwhelming. Blood coated my hands, my dress, my hair, the street. Everything was coated in blood. Mama's blood. Her skin had already turned blue from no oxygen. Her heart stilled moments ago. As the tears began to flow, I lifted my hands to my face, my eyes wide. Mama! Before I had realized it, the terrifying vision ended. There I was, back in my room. My hand was brought up to my face, where my vision slowly refocused to see my hands clean and no blood on them. Everyone had surrounded me. Kisu? Haruhi's words were light. She was treading carefully. I'm okay. So you're really going to let your father tell you who you have to marry? Hika's voice was hard, and I flinched under the scrutiny of it. Hikaru! Kao's voice held warning. So you're gonna go and marry this guy without a second thought? You're gonna dance along like a puppet for no reason at all? Is that how you want to live, Zaru? Hikaru was yelling at me. It took me by surprise. Hika had never yelled at me before. We had always been so together. The three of us never got mad at each other. But now, Hikaru looked like he was gonna kill me. I'm sorry, Hika. My throat constricted and my eye began to well with tears. My father, he's the only thing I had left in this world. You have us! With that, Hikaru lashed out. The slap came hard and fast. Kao jumped on him, but it was too late. The damage was done. Looking like he just woke up from a bad dream, Hika reached for me. I flinched back, scared of what was to come. Taking a slow step back, Hikaru ran, leaving the room and slamming the door behind him. My unshed tears slipped over, leaving my cheek burning. So yeah, you guys, that was the first chapter of my Orin fanfic. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know that I really enjoyed writing it, and I'm still continuing when I can. If you're anything like me, don't be afraid to look at it, though it has. I try to do about 1,000 words per chapter, so you know it's just enough to progress the storyline along without making it crazy long to read, because I know I can't read stories like that. I guess, I don't know, everything just gets interesting further in. You guys meet Yuki Sayuno, and he's interesting, to say the least. You find more about Kisuru's backstory. You actually find a bit of the backstory that I've made up myself, so please don't hate me for that. I just got so into this story, so a lot of this, it's really personal to me, and it's almost like my baby, pretty much. So, you know, if you do decide to look it up, my username is the Marissa Knight, and it's Hitachiin Love Triangle. I'm not too sure exactly how far this is gonna get, since I know I don't have a lot of subscribers or anything like that. But I guess every once in a while I'll update and I'll read a new chapter and start reading books and stuff. And yeah, if my own book ever gets published, I guess I'll read that too, 'cause, well, might as well, you know? That'll be interesting and fun, at least, although, because I'm not using my actual name on here, obviously, it'll probably be a little bit strange, I guess you could say, because probably a lot of you are not going to realize that it's actually me. Which is fine. It's the fact that people out there are going to be reading what I wrote. That's what makes me happy. But anyways, it is 2:30 in the morning. I have to work in about 12 hours. I still have not finished packing for college. So I should probably go. Once again, apologies for sounding sick and not being on the top of my game. My only hope was that I didn't sneeze during this, and I don't believe that I did, so that makes me happy. And I should be getting a new computer sometime next week, so maybe better quality, etc., etc., etc. And if there's anything you guys actually want me to read, just leave a comment on this video, and I'll see what I can do about it. Alright? Thank you guys for checking this out, and I hope you enjoy it, and yeah.